Here with some tips on pedestrian safety is Andy Crouppen of Brown & Crouppen, and we welcome you this morning, Andy.
How are you?
Thanks for being here. You know, we think about going downtown for these big events, and I don't think that a lot of us, I remember, well, I'll tell you, Virginia and I were at a restaurant, and we decided we couldn't wait as long as the wait was, and so she said, I got to get going, I got to get home to Riggs and whatever else, and I said, oh, I'll walk you, because I didn't want her walking by herself downtown. And immediately her thought was, well, there's thousands of people down here. What could possibly happen? Nothing could be further from the truth.
No one ever got hurt in a mob.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot you have to look out for, both during those big events and when you're just walking during your daily life. During the big events, one of the things you have to look out for, at least one of the things I was concerned about when I was down there, is just the stampedes of people. We came down, we were watching Game 7 downtown, and decided in the 8th inning, when it was looking great, we would go down to the stadium and be part of the celebration. Mm-hmm. And, you know, every little, every out, anything that happened sort of prompted these large groups of people to just run for no reason.
Right.
And especially once the game was over, we were in the stadium, and it got scary at times. You have thousands and thousands of people trying to push their way in, and you always read about it at big festivals and events, you know, every 10 years or so, people who get trampled. Yep. And you got to really be careful, because it comes out of nowhere and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, and it's not just the joy of the moment either. There's alcohol involved. I can tell you, working nights for many, many years at this television station and getting out of here when the games were letting loose, people weren't paying attention to what they were doing when they were crossing the street, whether they were, had the walk light or not. So you have to pay attention.
When you're walking down the street, you also have people who unfortunately have been drinking and then drive, people pulling out of the parking garage. Actually, about 2 years ago, we were in our old building, and after work, this had nothing to do with the game, I was walking out of the building in front of where people come out of the parking garage, and I think people are sort of fumbling with their keys and getting their passes out, and they swipe their card and aren't necessarily always looking forward. They're just in a hurry to get out. So I'm walking out, and some guy does this, and I'm walking right by. He's at a complete stop and just floors it and right into me. Yeah. Luckily, I'm nimble as a gazelle, and I jumped up. I literally jumped up onto the guy's hood and jumped off and kept walking. It was fine, but, it could have gone either way.
And imagine that guy. Oh, my God, I just hit a Crouppen.
That's right.
I am so dead. Well, all joking aside, I do want to cover very quickly this knockout game and putting yourself in those positions. And by avoiding that to begin with that's just common sense.
It is. I mean, we're luckily one of 4 or 5 cities in the country where this has really caught on. It's a weird phenomenon. It's groups. You'll hear about groups of maybe 18, 20 teenagers walking around, and a pedestrian will, unluckily cross their path, and the goal is to see if you can knock somebody out in one punch. And there was a couple, an elderly couple here in St. Louis. The man was killed. The wife broke her jaw. If you're walking alone at night, first of all, be very careful of that, especially if you're in the city or downtown. But if you see a large group of kids, walk to the other side of the street. If they walk toward you, run to the other side of the street.
The simple answer is keep yourself out of those situations. Be cognizant that these things can happen, and don't put yourself in
We live in a big, dangerous city, and people really need to appreciate it.
But no more dangerous than any other cities. I mean, they're all like that.
Oh, another topic for another time.
Don't slam my city, man. No, I know you love St. Louis, too. If you have a legal question for Brown & Crouppen, you can email us at greatday@kmov.com.